valley and mountain, river and plain, through wind and storm,
rides Ann of the Airlanes. Ann Burton and Jack Baker, together with the two members of the diamond smuggling ring, Vic and Joe, have taken off safely from the island of Trinidad, where they were mired down in the famous Lake of Asphalt. As they wing their way to the South American destination, Cape St. Roque, they receive word by radio from the gang's headquarters in Springfield that Zebulon Abercrombie, one of the discoverers of the diamond fields being worked by the smugglers, has joined the ranks of the Secret Service. However, knowing that Jack and Ann are safe for a while, suppose we see how our other friends are faring in the secreted laundry room in the Tyler Sanitarium. This room, serving as a false front for an unlicensed radio station, has been whisked out of sight beneath the ground, bearing with it Art Morrison, co-pilot Peterson, Bobby Baker, and Zeb Abercrombie. Have they kept their presence a secret, or does the mysterious head of the ring, the doc, know they are separated from his workroom by only a thin wall? Let's join them and find out.
I wonder what that buzz is. Sounds like a small emery wheel, only you can't hear them grinding anything.
I thought at first it was their radio set, Pete. Only I never heard one keep up a buzz like that.
Seems sort of familiar to me. Yes, sir, I've heard that sound summers before. If I could just place it. Gosh, I'd give anything I own, except my 30-30 Winchester, to have a little peek hole so I could see into that room. Wouldn't you, Art?
I sure would. Now that we've shut off the radio, they certainly seem to be engaged in some kind of work. I'll bet it has nothing to do with the hospital.
Speaking of hospital, I'd give a pretty just to see if that is Doc Tyler with that foreign fella. You can't tell by the voice through this wall.
Yeah, but the wall don't take away the accent of that foreigner's lingo. I could tell him anywheres. Say, that gives me an idea what that noise is. Wait till I hear it again. I think I can tell you.
Yeah, I'd like to hear him talk to Jack's plane again. Gee, I was sure glad to hear that they got that ship out of that lake of tar. Gosh, I bet that was sticky.
Not tar, Bobby. Asphalt, or pitch, as they call it down there. It's the same stuff they put on the streets.
I don't see much difference.
Well, there isn't a whole lot of difference, Bobby. They're both mineral byproducts.
Laying aside the educational side of this conversation, Art, that sure must have been a spot to be in. Man, we would have sure worried if we'd have known about that instead of just thinking that Jack had to land to put out a little fire in the baggage compartment.
I reckon you ain't sort of looked around for a few minutes to see and seen the spot you're in yourself, have you, Pete? If these smuggling fellers just happen to look in here when they switch this room back and find us in here, well, all Jack stood to lose was that airplane.
I get you, Zeb. I guess we are kind of in a spot, all right.
Well, yeah, but they couldn't actually do anything to us. Aunt Hattie and Kay know that we started up here to the sanitarium, and if we don't show up, well, the police would know where to look, won't they?
I guess they would, Bobby.
Take it easy, Bobby. They haven't found us here yet. I think that I've got enough evidence to call for a raid on this place.
Hey, there's that buzz again, Zeb. Take a listen.
Yeah, I reckon that's it, all right. Last time I heard that was down in Cape Town.
What do you think it is, Zeb?
Well, now don't take this as absolute fact, but it sounds to me just like one of the machines they used in cutting diamonds.
Cutting diamonds? Here in Springfield?
Yep, there was a fella had a little place in Cape Town where he did a little work like that. That's where I heard that noise before.
But I thought they did most of the diamond cutting in Holland.
I reckon they do, Bobby, but you see, if they take these rough stones to any of the regular diamond cutters, that gives the different governments a chance to check up on the number of stones that have been handled.
I think I see it now. No wonder we haven't been able to get our usual information from the cutters. These fellows have their own facilities, and they do all the handling of the diamonds from the mines direct to the final purchaser. Always thought there was a loophole somewhere in our system of checking up.
Man, oh man, but these boys are complete. As that Vic said, the doc just thinks of everything. It's a wonder to me that they have to go to the trouble to steal the diamonds. They ought to have their own mines, too.
I guess they have, Pete. The mines that they took away from us. Because until George and me stumbled onto them, nobody had ever looked for diamonds in that part of Africa.
But I thought it was all a part of what they call the Kimberley.
Nope, it's way north of the Kimberley. North and kind of west. They got what they call the alluvial mines in the Portuguese Angola. Only been working them about 15 or 20 years. But these stones that me and George found were more to the interior.
Well, that just about makes it complete, I guess. The doc has his own mines, his own radio stations and beacons, his own diamond cutters, and now with Jack piloting the Interstate Experimental Transport for him, he thinks he's got his own transatlantic air express.
And that last part is the weak link, Pete. Because with Jack working for us, well, that'll give us the whole setup so the Secret Service can round up the entire crew once they start.
Well, I wish they'd start pretty soon. I'm sort of itching to find out whatever become of George. For some reason or other, I never did feel like he was gone completely.
Well, Zeb, if the instructions are like they think they are, you'll be in Africa before very long. Because just as soon as they get that aircut fixed up, you'll be on your way.
You mean if we get out of this rat trap with our whole hides? Say, that buzzing has stopped.
And you can hear footsteps. Sounds like they're crossing to the door.
That means they'll be switching this laundry room back to its original place. We'll have a chance to get out.
If they don't take a notion to look in here before they leave.
Now, look, fellas. Each one of you get behind something the second you see this room moving. You can tell by that stationary wall there. Then if someone happens to open that door after the change, they won't see us.
I can get behind this machine here. Yeah. Hey, there's room for two of us.
You take that, Art. Bobby, you get down behind that there tub.
But how about you, Zeb? Doesn't seem to be any place for you.
It's sort of lucky each one of these rambling rooms has got its own door that lets them swing in. It hides anybody that's behind it. And if they happen to come in, well, there's always ways and means to keep them from coming in any further.
Let's hope nobody comes in. That'll make it easier.
Well, I'll sure be glad to get out of here. And won't Aunt Hattie be glad to know that we've heard from Miss Burton?
Maybe you better not tell her about Vic sending Ann back on a tramp steamer, so she can't send word to anyone. That'd just worry her more.
No, we won't say anything about that. Because if Ann does take a steamer from San Roque, we'll have her picked up by a flying boat.
Watch it. We're moving. See there?
Yeah. Let's get behind something just in case.
Better get down a little more, Bobby. Down. That's better. We're just about... Shh. I can hear somebody going up the steps. Looks like we're not going to have any company. Yep, they've gone.
Think it's safe to make a dash for it?
Yep, I reckon the coast is just about as clear now as it'll ever be. But it won't hurt none to sort of be as still as we can.
I'd like to take a look at the way they move these rooms around before we get out. We might not have another chance like this.
As a matter of fact, I would too, Pete. But it'll have to wait because it's getting late. It's 3:15.
3:15. Boy, it'll be daylight pretty soon.
That's what I'm afraid of. We better get out of here while we have a chance.
Yeah, I'd hate to get caught in here for another 5 or 6 hours. Lack of freedom sort of cramps my style.
No one in sight. Watch out for these steps. I'd still like to know if that fella in there was Doc Tyler.
Well, if it was, he's a pretty good actor, 'cause he was talking to that foreigner, Hans, just like he was a janitor when I overheard him. And if Hans is a diamond cutter, well, even the head of them crooks wouldn't talk to him like that. Them fellers is scarce, especially in this country.
Here's the ambulance entrance. Nobody around.
Oh, boy, does that fresh air feel good after being caged up in that room for a few hours.
Now, if we can just get back to the car without being seen, we'll be all right.
Well, Art, what's on the program now?
I think we ought to get a little sleep, and then we'll...
Here comes a car on the drive.
Quick, behind these bushes, fellers. Yeah.
It's no ambulance. Wonder who it is coming in.
That's Dr. Tyler's car.
And that was Doc Tyler getting out and going into the hospital.
Anyhow, he's sent his car away, so I reckon he's planted for the night. Looks like we can move now.
We can cut across here to the sidewalk. Keep in the shadows, though. I don't trust anything or anybody around this place anymore.
Well, as I started to say, we'll get a little rest and then show up at the airport. See how they're coming along with the aircat.
I still can't see why the Secret Service is going to this much trouble, Art. Fitting out a speed plane for ocean hops and then having Kay and Zeb and me handle it. Looks like they could get men of their own to...
They could, but you asked for it, so you could be close to Jack. So there you are. Of course, Pete, if you'd rather not.
Hey, wait a minute. I was just asking, that's all. I want to be in on this at the finish. But why have us trail him? Jack is right with him all the time, and he...
I reckon I know the answer to that, Pete. You see, once they get into the interior in Africa, Jack is liable to need all the help he can get, and have it where he can lay his hands on it when he does need it.
Gosh, Mr. Morrison, I wish they could find some way for me to go along with them. I could handle the radio. Hey, it's going to be sort of lonesome without anyone here.
Don't worry about that, Bobby. I think we'll find plenty for you and I to do right here at home. Maybe it won't be as exciting, but then if tonight is any sample, we'll have our share at that.
That's right, Bobby. A ground crew is really more important than the pilot sometimes. We may need you to send us a rowboat. You never can tell.
Oh, all right. But I'd still like to go.
Well, here's a car. We'd better be making ourselves scarce on this street.
Hey, climb in front, Bobby, and open the front door on the other side for me.
Okay, Pete.
You better come over to my hotel, Zeb. I think they can fix you up there, and you want to be close in case we get a call.
Okay, Art. One place is just about as good as another.
Now, if I can just get this boat started. Say, what's this on the wheel?
A piece of paper. Maybe you left it when we got out.
I never left any paper on the wheel. Looks like a note. Can't read it. It's too dark. I'll turn on the light back.
Not here, Pete. Better get around the corner. Hand it here. I'll turn the light on. It's back here as soon as we're out of sight of the hospital.
Okay. Hey, but look. I had the doors all locked and the windows up. How could anybody put a note in it without opening the car?
Looks like somebody else is a magician. Or maybe it's the same feller.
This ought to be all right. Keep on going, Pete. I'll read it. Oh, turn on the light. That switch right there, Zeb. Listen to this. Mr. Peterson, the regular visiting hours in my sanitarium are from 6 to 8 each evening. Visits by you and your friends at other hours will be met with force in the future. And it's signed Dr. Tyler.
Dr. Tyler. Is this definite proof that Tyler is the nefarious leader of the smuggling ring? Has he been playing with our friends as a cat plays with a mouse? And for what purpose? Perhaps more will be revealed in the next episode when we once again join our friends in another thrilling chapter of Anne of the Airlanes.